Hey David, it's Bill and Julie, Tebby. We're dropping off Ruby for her 3-week program. So you can work on her with leash training, obviously. Dog aggression and aggression against things like doorbells and vacuum cleaners.
Sit. Whenever I bring Ruby through a boundary, I always have her sit. I step through first, and then I go back to get her. She waits, and then she only goes through a boundary, especially a major boundary like this with me. Okay, not pulling, calmly like this, and you may even have to slow down, like an exaggerated slowness to get her to do it at your house because she's so used to racing through doorways there. But if you turn any situation, any place where she formerly was excited, ran through, was disrespectful to you, pulled you through, you turn that into the calm zone like you see I've done here, she'll start to really change. Sit. And of course we came from there. You saw how I brought her to the mat. Using my body, whenever I want to reset her or set her pointed in a certain direction, I just do a left turn and a sit, just like you saw me just do. Use my body. It's way more body language, way less struggling with the leash. I'm having her sit in front of the mat, and pat her chest and say, go to your mat, and then down. She smells the dogs that were on here before her. So you saw that when she didn't go straight down, all I did was with my left foot, I just kind of applied a slight amount of pressure, which made her go there. You never repeat the command, ever. We never repeat commands, ever. In this mat exercise, you start off just by standing in front of her. Good. Rewarding her just with, we're using this natural balance right now. This lamb-flavored natural balance. I have a piece between my thumb and my forefinger. I'm going to do it to her side so you can see it. See how she's waiting? Nope. She touches your hand, you pull it back and say no. She has to wait. You place it on the mat. Good. You place it on the mat, let go of it and withdraw. You're not throwing it down. You're not going like this. It's a very calm, very focused way of delivering the reward. It's very important you do it this way, because if you do it another way, or she's grabbing it out of your hands, it's not going to work. She's going to be reactive, and the whole goal of this exercise, good, is calmness. And one of the most important parts of this is how you deliver the reward. So we start like that, and you kind of warm up by just doing easy things first, and then you work your way up to doing harder things. And of course, this is what's called a basic downstay that everybody should have, where the dog allows you to walk around both ways, and they don't pop up. And then you always come back from in front and reward from in front. Good. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you can do variations of this downstay. Whatever she learns on the mat, and now she does this, she'll do out in public, depending on how many distractions are there, or how much stress is out there. But in general, everything she learns on this mat, she'll do without the mat now. That's why we practice the mat first, because it's a fast track to learning this behavior, and then she'll do it without the mat. So you saw I just went to different places. She stayed there. I come back in front. You always come back and reward the same way. Good. You got that little 2 seconds there, 3 seconds maybe, where it's just in the moment, calmness. You want that to take over her life. That calmness where she's really here, she's non-reactive. That reactive state of mind that we're trying to dispel, that's where all bad behaviors come from. So you practice with her at the doorways, like waiting calmly, the mat, all these other different places, and that calmness starts to take over her life, and she has less reactive time, so that reactive state of mind gets weaker and weaker in her. She's easier to control, less likely to have episodes with whatever you were having with her other dogs or good, anything. Being less reactive means more good behavior. So now that we've done that, there's harder things we can do, like walking far away from her. I'm going to walk way in the back of the house, see if she stays there. And if she makes mistakes, I'm going to show you what to do if she makes a mistake. So I'm walking way back here, actually by the back door, open it, closing it, and she gets up. So you see that she's gotten up, you say no, And usually when you say no, she'll just put herself back. And that's fine, she's a little bit crooked, but I'm gonna accept that. She's still generally where I want her to be. So she made a mistake, so I'm gonna go back and do it again. If she ever makes a mistake and you want to really remind her, you find something that's difficult for her to do, then it's okay to remind her what you want her to keep doing. So I'm gonna say, down. I'm gonna go do this again. We'll see if she does better this time. Good. Everything ends the same way, right? You come back, calm. Good. So she got over that. Now we'll do something else. So very often when you sit down and dog thinks it's an invitation to get up and come over to you. And if I do things like this, it's even more distracting, but she knows that there's only one way she ever gets up out of a down stay, and that's when I release her. Good. Maybe sitting down on the sofa is different for her. So I'm just gonna exaggerate the way I'm sitting down. And of course, she knows she needs to stay there. No matter what I do, she knows I'm coming back, and she gets rewarded. She gets paid for ignoring whatever I'm doing. Good. She's actually not ignoring me, but she's focused on wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. But she knows this is a game. She knows how to play it. And in a way, we're tricking her to think at a higher level, to have a higher level of focus and calmness. We're tricking her because she knows the game is, no matter what I do, where I go, she stays there calmly. I'll always come back and pay her for doing that. So I'm going to do something that's really hard for her to do. Down. I'm going to go in the back of the house, close the door behind me, knock on the door. In a very exaggerated way. Good. Of course, the other dogs are barking, but she's calm. Good. Now, for some really hard stuff. These are things that most dogs usually have an issue with the front door, being in the front room and people come to the door. Down. Leaving her alone in the living room. Closing the front door behind me, knocking on the door. Doorbell. Nobody's likely to ever do this unless they're crazy, of course, but it's good to practice stuff like that. Mail slot. Sometimes dogs get really triggered by the mailman, putting the mail in there. Good. Good. You probably couldn't see it, but I gave her like a triple reward. Anytime she does something exceptional, stays calm, sits through something really distracting like that, you need to give her a big payoff, and she'll never forget what she did to get that reward. So of course there's so many things you can do at your house, probably different things there because your whole situation is different than mine, but you know, my front yard is fenced, so I feel safe in doing this. Worst case scenario, she runs out the door, there's nowhere for her to go. But if your front yard is not, you can do this at your back door, of course. You want to, whenever you try something, you want to make sure she's safe. So, but I can practice this, and she knows she doesn't go through this boundary, and she doesn't move until I release her. Good, that was good, so another big reward. Also, the way that I bring her in and out of the house affects that as well. She only goes through that boundary now when she goes through with me. We found something. Nope. So she made a mistake, and I wanted to show you a mistake on this. So very often whenever you pull on the leash, the dog thinks you want them to come to you. Good, and she was good. She was thinking, since I picked up the leash, she was thinking that we were done and I was going to release her. And that's your biggest enemy in dog training, really, is anticipation. They think, oh, I know what comes next. And so when I pulled on the leash, she thought that she was going to get up. But now that I showed her that she made a mistake, she's back in the training mode. Good. Where she knows that this is just another test. Good. You want to do it from different angles. Good. So that you make sure you get all the different angles. Good. Good. And we'll practice at your house as well, of course, but there's so much you can do to make her better by doing this. when you're gonna take her off the mat, she's waiting for you to come back, stand next to her, pat your leg and say, okay. You're gonna let her back outside, sit. We're gonna do this doorway thing from the inside out again. She sits and waits, I step through. This is also just to accentuate that you own this boundary. It's not her boundary. She needs permission from you to go through now. This is pure focus now. She's really waiting for permission from you. And if she's waiting for permission to go outside, no. She kind of lost focus there. So if she makes a mistake, you go back to the step in front, do it again, make sure she does it right. She's thinking that I'm in charge, that I'm the boss when I'm doing this with her. And that's what you need as well. Okay, take her outside. On the outside, have her sit, and then you release her to be free after you've calmly gone through that boundary. Go. Good girl. Give her a little free time. Sit. I always have Ruby sit in front of her crate before I send her in. Now, she's not used to her crate being here, so she might be a little bit apprehensive, or not, we'll see. See, if you open that door and she gets up, you say no. You can do this, just a little bit of pressure. Whenever you're reinforcing a command, you're not jerking, popping, you're not being rough. All I did was pulled up with a little pressure, and then I touched her rear end, she went back, and I released the pressure. So you want to be gentle but firm. That's the operative phrase, gentle but firm. So if she wants to go in the crate, which she loves her crate, and most of the dogs do, she has to wait for your permission. Another boundary, very important boundary. This is her den, so if you control this, like the front door, it's really important. So you see you're not restraining her with your right hand. Go, send her in. And of course, because it's out here, she's thinking, this is weird. My crate's not out here, it's in the bedroom, but I kind of helped her in a little bit. But she turned around, faced me, she got a big treat. I'm gonna reach in and take off her training collar, this little prong collar thing. And then you can even, this is an exercise unto itself. She waits, she gets a reward, she tries to come out and say no. Give that a little token, little close there. She waits, good. I mean, that's what I do at first, which teaches the dog, hey, staying in here, respecting the boundary is a good thing. Good things happen when I do that. So I'll do it again when I take her out, when I show you how I take her out. I always hang this prong collar on the door like that, and of course you can put the leash wherever you want. Her routine here has been to sleep overnight in the crate every night. Throughout the day, she's constantly in and out of the crate. Every time we put her in and every time we take her out, we do exactly like this. And it's just another way to practice her respect for boundaries. You do these things that we've done here, her perception of you is going to change, because if you control her boundary, her access into her crate, which is her den, in her mind it's her den, then you must be the boss. And if you're the boss in all these different ways that we're showing you, then there must be somebody in charge here in the household. There's a lot more structure, there's a lot more feeling of how, there's a power greater than herself here, and dogs are way less likely to misbehave or do crazy things like attack another animal in the household if they know that somebody else is in charge. You can keep going here. You just turn this off. So you always put her in the same way. You always take her out the same way. It's actually a tool for training. She eats her meals in there. We get it. When it's meal time, we get her bowl and we put it in there and close the door. The door's always closed. It's closed when she's in and it's closed when she's out, because obviously you need to control the boundary. When you're going to take her out, you hook up the leash to this funny-looking buckle here on the little training collar, little prong collar. The perfectly round one is just a spacer, so you don't touch that. Make sure that it's not twisted up. So if you let it hang like that, it straightens itself out. You want it to be like this, and you just open the door like this. And if she tries to come out, you just do a little token close like that. And when she waits, give her a little treat. And you just reach in there. She's very used to this. Reach in and hook her up. This collar is attached. It's right under her ears, so it's the highest one up. Don't put it down here somewhere. Make sure that she waits. See, she's waiting. I got the leash in my hand. I pat her leg, pat my leg, say, okay. She comes out. I'm gonna do this little left circle here, close the crate door, and that's how we take her out. And then I can walk her through the house to the doorway, do the doorway thing, release her outside the proper way, even if it's the back door. So the whole process from coming out of the crate to going outside is very calm. Sit. Okay. Here we are with Ruby out on the street. A lot going on out here. A dog is going to pop out that she doesn't even know is there. And I'm just walking her on free time. She's very excited, interested in people and things, whatever. But you see, even on free time, she's right next to me. If I want to, if she's pulling me and I want to keep that leash loose and have her not pull me, I just back away. Because at this point, after I've called her to come to me for the last 3 weeks, if I back away, she's just going to come towards me. Worst case scenario, if she's pulling, you just do a little prompt on the leash and she comes back next to you. It's just, the product of a few weeks. Good. If you want to reward her when she does that, that's great. After a few weeks of always handling her the same exact way, she kind of just does it now because it's starting to become a pattern. And so I'm just going to give a motion to have somebody just pop out, and I'll show you what happens. She doesn't know this dog doesn't know her. She's going to be completely surprised by it. I'll show you what she does now when she sees the dog and how I handle it. Okay, come on out now. See, she sees the dog. Come. I'm going to call her back to me. Now stay there, and just go back and forth, okay? Yeah. See how Ruby looks at the dog, I say come, she comes back. Wherever I go, I can lure her wherever I want with this right-hand target. Yeah, just stay in the street right there, and let her be, just go like this. Cruz, just go like this and let her be loose. Just like this. Free, let her be free. So she moves around a little bit more. But you can see that we've practiced this so much now. Good, that if I say, come, she'll turn away and come back to this target. And of course you always want to have a little reward in this right-hand target. And when she sees it, she can't help herself. She'll just be lured to wherever you go. Good, you want to pet her and say good at the same moment she takes the treat. It's even better. And let's let this car go past. Good, every time we do this, she gets more and more desensitized to seeing a dog on the street. She was totally surprised. We can get closer. Come. Although I wouldn't advise that you do this at first, but I just want to show you what she's capable of doing now and what we've been practicing here. So now, really here at least, because she's going to be this way on this street because this is all we've ever done. Here, a dog triggers her to pay attention to me, to get paid, to not pull, to be relaxed, to kind of stick by me, because that's all that we've ever done from day one. So that's all right. You can stay right there now. Just stay there. Yeah. Good. So that's what's going on with Ruby and other dogs now. She used to have some pretty bad aggression, as you saw, but she's doing a lot better. And now we'll just take her back to you and practice the same thing on your street. Okay. Sit. Good. See how I put the reward by my eyes, so she was looking at me. Eye contact is really important in a lot of different situations. Whenever you can get her to look at you in the eyes when she receives a reward, it's a good thing, especially in the sit. It's so much better than what most dogs are used to, which is the hand coming out of the sky, out of nowhere, and they're looking here or there, wherever, they're not paying attention to you. It just makes it a lot more clear that you're in charge. Eye contact's a big thing in the dog world. Good. As you reward her, she's still staring at you because of the way you do it. Straight down, and she's looking at you as she takes the treat. It makes you a lot more important in her eyes. If she breaks out of a sit like that, before you release her, you just say no and put her back. See what I did? I just kind of stepped into her, did a little do-over circle, reset her, put her back. I still only said the SIT word one time. There's a dog at a fence over there making noise. No. So she's a bit distracted. See, this is going to happen to you, but see how easy it is? You just reset her, and maybe she makes the mistake when you're first practicing and getting to know these moves. Maybe she does it 5 times in a row with you. Then that means you reset her 5 times in a row. She knows what it means. You see how that works now? All you're shooting for is a little a sit stay, which is just where she allows you to walk around both ways, all the way around both ways, and then for you to come back next to her. Good. Reward her for doing it the right way. There is no stay, as you can see. If you say sit, it means to stay until you release her. So there's a lot less talking. You never repeat the command if she makes a mistake before you release her. You just say no, you reset her and put her back just like you saw me do. No, we're going to do again. There's a dog clawing at a gate back there, and so this is an extra good way to do our little training video for you, because we're going to leave these mistakes in here because that's going to happen to you, and it's really great practice for her to do the training in a situation where there's a big distraction, which is right behind her. And always make sure that you end on a success. Nope. And because of her issues with dogs, you know that's a big one. Always make sure that you end on a success. She got up several times because of the dog back there making a bunch of noise. I kept resetting her. And we end like this with a reward because she did it properly. Good. And then we end like this. Okay. Down. Sometimes when you're practicing your down command, she hesitates a little bit. Even in the next few days, she's going to get a lot better with that. But I just showed you how to do that, how to make her a lot better quickly when she comes home. If you're having any kind of issue with her going down immediately when you say the command, the worst thing to do is to keep saying down. She ignores you, and then you force her down or whatever. It's better if you do everything at once. Down. The word, the action, everything's connected, and then you can forego the foot thing really quickly, and all she knows is she heard it once and she ended up going there every time you practice that way, and she'll start doing it without you having to do that. And then later on, if she does hesitate, you don't even have to touch the leash, you just go like this and she'll go there. If she gets up like that, no. Gently but firmly put her back. It's that action, just the left foot like that. You don't want to bend over, point, snap your fingers, do any of that kind of stuff that maybe people used to do. Just keep it real simple. Stay, of course, is built into down, so if you say down, she knows it means to stay until you release her. So we never even say stay. You don't have to say stay. It's a useless command at this point. She's waiting for you to come back to her in a very certain way, very specific way to release her. And that is, she knows when you come back next to her like this and pat your leg and say, okay, sit, and have her sit, because you always release a dog out of a down stay, and have her sit first and release her from calm sit stay, because she keeps a lot more calmness in her when you release her from a calm sit stay. Go, just like that, and that's how she's free. If you're going to release her from a down stay into free time, you say okay, she gets up, you have her sit, and you release her calmly from a sit stay. If you don't do that and you just release her from a down stay, most of the time the dogs are going to jump up and run around and be all excited and be very anticipatory and like pop up out of their down. So that's not good for our purposes, which is we want a calmer dog. So we found a way to release her from a down stay in a way that keeps her calmer. So it's okay, she's still on the clock till you have her sit, and then go. That's how you want to release her. It's just the whole byproduct of this training is that when you're done with an exercise, that she's a little bit calmer every time you finish. Okay.